Hello everybody, Sergeant Soldier here, we're back with another Building Rust, and today we're going to be looking at a medium-sized base that incorporates these double-stacked foundations exploit. Now, of course, not everyone is going to want to use this exploit, and I completely understand that. However, this is still a base build, and base building is a part of Building Rust. So yes, this uses an exploit. If you don't want to use an exploit in your builds, feel free to check out any of the other base building videos that we have. To start with, we have our double stack foundations. Now, this is going to be the center of your base and everything's going to be built off around this. So if you don't know how to do it, feel free to go to the Breaking Rust section of our channel, check out the episode that says double stack foundations. It'll show you exactly how to do it. And then once you get that done, we're going to move on. The next step is going to be taking two squares and putting them on both sides of the double stack foundation. The sides you're going to put this on is the sides that don't completely line up. So there's a little bit of an overhang one way or the other. From there, you're going to pick one square and you're going to go all the way around in triangles. And then when you get to the front square, you're going to realize that they don't 100% line up. That's perfectly fine. That's intended for this build. So as you can see here, there's just a little bit of a gap that's essentially the width of a wall sticking out of the front on one of the squares. Now for the next part of this base build, we're going to be adding the walls. Now as you can see, it's fairly standard except for the point where it comes to double stacking the walls because it's a double stack foundation. You get two sets of doorways and two sets of walls on either side. So as you can see here, I've chose our doorways on the left and our walls on the right. Now, personally, I put the ladder hatch in because I find that to be the easiest with these smaller bases. You just go straight up to the middle, to the top, wherever you're going to go. You don't have to worry about ladders, you don't have to worry about stairs or doors or anything like that. Now, personally, yes, I know that it's not always a good idea to put ladder hatches in because they can be bone clubbed from the bottom. But that being said, if you space them out right so that they can't double jump into the next ladder hatch, if they bust the first one, it's going to be perfectly fine. All they're going to do is lose access to the first hatch. So from here, you make sure that you put your ladder hatch frame up first before you end up putting your second wall in the backside, because if the wall is up first, it won't actually put that floor frame in. Now going from there, basically all we're going to do is just build straight up. Now I put 3 different layers on this base and I added the second and the third layer and I put ladder hatches on all 3 of those. So that if they bust the first one, they're going to have to double boost up to the second one to break it or blow it. And then at that point, it's going to be even harder to get up further. So you could do the center of this base however you want. You could use ladders. You could do pretty much anything. However, in my opinion, even though they're kind of weak when it comes to clubbing, that's not always going to be the case. And doing the build with ladder hatches is probably going to be your best bet. From this point, as you can see, we have the base fully built. It goes up 3 levels. It's not incredibly tall. However, the longer you're going to live in the base, the taller you can make it. Because you're always using ladder hatches. There's always roof access, so you just keep building higher and higher and higher. Now, the thing is though, maybe you don't always want to live in a ladder hatch. Maybe you want to expand the base outward so you could use a 1x1 star or a cross-shaped loot room in the center once you start expanding out through honeycombing. You could do that with this base, and as you can see, I've actually done that here. Now what I did was I started from the back. I started from this back square here and I put 3 triangles down and then I went all the way around, ensuring the honeycombing is very tight. Now when you get to the front here, it gets a little tricky. Basically what I did was this center triangle right here, I put this in last. By putting this in last, you can actually indent that triangle into the previous square in here and create an additional double door. Now, you may have to end up picking from the inside the first double door if you're on a vanilla server. However, it's worth it to add that extra door because it's just additional security in the front end. So by going back up again, looking at the side here, we've got 2 C4 to get through this wall, 2 C4 to get through this wall, 2 more for this wall, that's 6, 8 C4 to get to the center if you add the additional honeycombing. Without the additional honeycombing, it's still a 6 C4 raid. Now going from the top, of course, going down, yeah, it's going to be significantly less because of the cost that it takes to blow through a ladder hatch. But that being said, raid towers aren't really that easy anymore. Because of the new building system with the tool cupboards, it's a lot harder to get an actual raid tower to work to the point to where a lot of people aren't even attempting them anymore. They're just blowing straight from the ground and then trying to go up. So with that being said, the higher you can go, the easier it'll be to defend it. But also the wider you can go, the easier it's going to be to defend it. Now if you keep going higher up and eventually you start spacing your loot room out a little bit more, you could actually use stairs and create the alternating tool cupboards in this base as well, because the front and back have squares here that you can put the stairs on. So other than that, that's pretty much it for this base build. It's fairly simple, not very hard. Going through here, you got a door here, so it's 2C4, 4C4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Just by going through the honeycomb doors alone. and 8 by going through the sides. It's pretty beefy, not too bad for a base that doesn't take up a huge footprint, and honestly, it's not going to be that much on resources. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, Sergeant Solj, building Rust, and we'll see you in the next Building Rust video. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching this episode. If you want to see more great content from Private Astro or myself, please hit that subscribe button and click on any of the videos above. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next Sergeant Solj or Private Astro video. Bye-bye.